think
we're ready.
I think we're ready. I think, folks, welcome to Apples and Oranges.
Yes, welcome to Apples and Oranges. I'm Matthew.
I'm Jack, and with us today we have the amazing Ella Friedman.
Hello.
Ooh, she's a writer, performer, one of the
prop
goated.
manufacturer.
True.
I would say that.
Costume?
No,
Oh.
not maybe costume one day.
Well, one day
One
we'll
day.
see.
With that, well, who knows? But also, folks, this is your first time listening to this podcast. This is the podcast where we debate our guests on disparate topics given to us through a random topic generator
That's
that
right.
we have set up over there.
This bad boy here. It's full of electricity. Runs on diesel. Mm-hmm.
And it keeps the show running.
Keeps the show running.
Yeah, and we will, dive into some insane topics. But first, we gotta learn some more about Ella. We're curious to know, Ella, do you have any formal debate experience or
Informal.
Okay, so I actually technically do. I was on the Needham High School speech and debate team my freshman year of high school, depending on who you ask. And the people you can ask are my parents, because they do think that I did do it all year. I did join because I don't know why. It sort of seemed fun to fight people. And then turns out it was boring as hell.
Oh, so you just stopped showing up?
Well, I did one tournament and these were the biggest losers I've ever met in my life.
Freaking nerds.
We went to Revere High School and all day we had to debate like something about democracy. And they would get so intense and you couldn't even insult each other. And I kept doing bad because I thought we were supposed to debate and you were like writing speeches and you didn't really actually get to cross-examine anyone. And then there were judges and I thought it was so boring. And I had the ugliest suit because I didn't know you had to buy a suit for it. And I was so mad. But I didn't want to give up all that free time I now had in the afternoon and tell my parents I stopped going. So instead, I would just tell them, I was like, oh, speech and debate ends at 4:30, pick me up then. And I would go and sit in a random corner of my high school and make Vine edits.
Yo.
Yeah, so I have some experience, I would say.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mhm.
You had your side hustle going this
Exactly.
entire time.
Yeah.
Vine edits? Like, were you compiling vines or were you doing edits upon them?
I was doing multiple things. So, well, I actually wasn't making like Vine compilations. I was instead making edits of sort of films and television programs on a 6-second loop.
Oh, wow.
And they were not good. And they will not ever see the light of day.
Do you remember any? Could you give us an example?
I had a phase also actually connected to my speech and debate phase where I was obsessed with Donald Glover. And like all I would listen to for 1 year was Childish Gambino. And this was before his later stuff. So I was really obsessed with like the first.
Yeah, because the internet.
Because of the internet, yeah.
Because of the internet, but also Camp, which is famously not good. And I've now learned this later.
It is Bonfire.
It has Bonfire.
Bonfire's pretty good.
Which
it's funny. It's a funny song.
To be completely honest, then my sophomore year of high school, I was like, I guess I'll join the speech team. And then I did one speech tournament. And the only thing I enjoyed about it is at the end of the tournament, they're like, now we're going to have a talent show.
Whoa, that's sick.
And I got up there and I rapped Bonfire for some reason.
It's a dirty song.
That's sick.
It's so strange. And I didn't like know anyone. And I thought it'd be really funny. And then I got into so much trouble.
Trouble?
Not because I rapped Bonfire, but because my dad came to pick me up early because I was like, Dad, this sucks. Everyone's boring. Can you come get me? And I didn't like check out with our coach.
Oh,
Paul
shit.
Wexler. And he was so mad because they thought like
him.
something bad had happened to me.
Yeah,
You
something
just left.
did.
But I just left.
Whoa.
I just dropped the mic and I left. Something good happened to me. My career took off that
Because
day.
you got to leave.
That's
got to
also the
leave.
most baller way to dip is just like, thank you, peace. Exit through the back door. No one sees you. Don't check out with anyone.
Wow.
That's the way to do
It
it.
really sounds to me like you burned everything those motherfuckers talk about.
No, it was a bonfire.
Wow,
For
wow.
sure.
Get those lights out. Get those lights out. All right.
I had a Gambino fact I was about to drop, but it's escaped my mind. But
Well, we can't do the best feature on the show, Gambino Facts with Jack.
yeah, the Jack Gambino fact.
Well, I came on the show. I was trying to hear some Gambino facts.
Well, okay. We'll throw a Gambino fact at you.
Yeah.
What was it? His Dad owned half the MoMA.
His
What's
dad
that?
owned half the MoMA?
No, it was like some lyric in one of his songs.
Oh.
Yeah, but
His
no,
dad owned
it's
half the MoMA?
no, it's not true.
No.
This is a fake. This is a falsified fact.
All right.
This is Jack's Gambino misinformation. This is a new segment.
oh,
where
I
I
like
spread a
this
lie
one.
Yeah.
about Gambino, and that was this week's.
Okay,
It's a good one.
that's a good one. You know what?
Thank
Let's
you.
go around and I'll tell a lie about childish.
Yeah, that was
Gambino.
my lie.
Okay. Ella, do you have a lie?
My lie about Childish Gambino is that he did not actually attend NYU.
Oh.
He was, in fact, just a grifter from the new school, and he lied to all of us. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good Gambino lie.
Mm-hmm.
And my Gambino lie is that his uncle actually worked for Nintendo and had some heard that the next Pokemon game was going to be crazy. Yeah.
Sounds. I will say, Childish Gambino did teach me something really important, and that is how to say Sufjan Stevens.
Oh.
I always pronounce it Sufjan before I heard the song where he mentions him.
Sufjan gets a name drop?
Oh, Sufjan gets a strong
On
name
camp?
drop.
Mm.
I do believe on camp.
Oh.
Trying to think of the exact lyric, but it'll come to me. At one point, I will be bursting into song when I remember it.
That's great. Well, perhaps you'll be bursting in the midst of a debate, which is being geared into right now.
Holy shit!
Holy shit. So, all right, here we go. Jack, you're going to be arguing in favor of a fruit.
A fruit. Okay.
And Ellie, you're going to be arguing in favor of a horror movie. Horror movie. All right, so in the meantime, I'll just say it's Childish Gambino.
I've got my
Yeah,
fruit.
Okay,
I,
yeah.
I have my movie. I have my movie.
Okay, good.
But I do want to hear you finish that rap.
Yeah.
No, I'm jesting.
Okay.
No,
but really,
but really,
do it for us.
no. I'm playing. Do you want to hear about my who did I hear from first?
You know what? I'd like to hear from you first, Jack.
All right. No horror movie compares to grapes. Grapes are the best fruit. They are simply too freaking good. And they are so receivable to the GMO advancement. Like they're literally like, ever had those grapes that are like cotton candy? It's crazy. It's an abomination. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful dark twisted fantasy. And I think no horror movie is as frightening as something like that. So it's beating it. Horror movies at its own game, and it's nice unless you can pop them. You ever pop a grape? You go pop, right in your mouth, or you just hold it and squeeze it, and just feel the juices running down your hand, and like you're destroying a small Earth or planet, just crushing it. That's a fun thing you do with a grape, and also don't get me started about wine. And I'm not even gonna get into wine or jams. I'm just gonna yield my time because grapes are so good.
All right, Ella.
And tonight I would like to talk about a little bit of a horror film called Ma. Ma was released in 2019. I'm seeing that people here are familiar with Ma. Ma is one of the great movies. I think that horror in the late 2010s period definitely had an incredible resurgence with films like Midsommar, Hereditary, and most importantly, Ma. Ma is not only a horror film, it's a coming-of-age film starring some of the brightest young actors we have working today, including Diana Silvers, the kid from Ant Farm, or Girl Meets World, one of those Disney boys, and also a little actress I like to know as Octavia Spencer. And she is someone who has such a diverse category. You can't place her anywhere. And then in Ma, you say, this is Ma. And Ma has given us so much beyond just scares. It elevates what we think a horror movie could even possibly do because it shows us the horror within ourselves. It shows us the horror of our childhoods and how that might reach towards the future. Because if you know anything about Ma, it's actually a generational tale about Ma coming to torture and maybe even love the children of her former torturers and also maybe former lovers. So unlike grapes, Ma is complex and it continues to give. And I want to end my opening statements on this. Grapes have only given us one internet viral phenomenon. Did surgery on a grape. While Ma has done many, many, many more. I yield my time.
All right. I have many things to address. First of all, Ma, barely a meme. Grapes, what about the kid who is like, what about Grape Kid?
Mm-hmm.
And the Grapist. Grape is endless grape memes. Not a great in surgery on a grape. one of the greatest memes of all time. Not to mention Ma. No memes from Ma.
Am I allowed to interrupt at this point?
Yeah,
Are we
now
at
we're-
this
now
Go
we're-
point?
go crazy.
I
Claw
know-
his eyes out.
I
Do
would
whatever
like to
you
counter with, "Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone."
I'm not familiar.
Hardly a meme. Hardly a meme.
I'm noticing that
meme bombed.
there's no women in the room, and for the ladies
but
of America,
I'm an ally. I'm
No.
an ally.
See, this is something the ladies of America, both Republican and Democrat, have come together, and we're often sending each other, "Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone." And
Okay.
it's very, very powerful. And it also is terrifying at the same time, because the idea of drinking alone is so scary. And I would
True.
never want someone to ever drink alone, including Ma.
Well, I think, look, let me set the scene for you. Exterior. Palatial gardens. 500 BC. You're a Roman emperor being carried by 4 servants, and you have a 5th above you dropping delicious grapes into your mouth. And you're popping them, and you're eating these grapes, and you're being fanned, and it could not be possible. No horror movie could bring anyone that level of sensory experience. A horror movie just, you stare mindlessly at a screen. Grape, the way it's you look at it, you touch it.
But here's the thing
taste
about a grape.
you
It can
pop
be squishy. It can be an unpleasant texture. When I watch Ma, I know exactly what I'm getting. I see it. I know that I am going to get to experience the visceralness of Ma's basement. And it's bringing me right back. I can
Ma's basement.
smell that musty smell. And guess what I can hear upstairs? Some creaking. Who's that? Turns out Ma has a daughter. What kind of plot twist are you getting from a grape? Grape's not keeping you on your toes. Grape's just a grape. Ma is so many different things.
That's where you're wrong. Cotton candy grape. And talk about versatility. Grape, wine. We have grape juice. We've got jams. We've got all sorts of purees. Grapes, and they go well in like desserts as well as
What dessert does a grape go well in?
grape pie, baby.
Who's eating grape pie?
This guy.
And what are the ingredients in grape pie?
Grapes and crust. Checkmate.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You
and-
got me. Okay, great. North Carolina Bake Off.
yeah,
Winner.
Yeah, I'm a champ. I won the whole town bake off with my grape pie.
But you know who drinks a lot of wine?
Ma.
Is Ma.
Ma should not be drinking.
Ma is over 21 years old. She can legally drink, and she can also legally buy alcohol, which is a huge problem in America. It's something that Ma, the film, addresses. Grapes are never addressing the political state of America. We're never talking about them in the greater conversation. However, Ma is always bringing it back to not only the political, but also the personal.
Yeah, because Ma is down in the mudslinging trenches of politics. Grapes ascend politics. They ascend the discourse. Grapes will be around in 1,000 years. Ma will be forgotten and lost with the sands of time.
See, I don't believe Ma will be forgotten, because Ma is ultimately a film about grief. And grief is something that will live on with us forever. And that is what horror movies give us, because they allow us to step outside of ourselves and acknowledge our fears without having to actually live it. And what's our ultimate fear? Death. What does grapes give us? Nothing. You could swallow a grape whole, something I've done many, many, many times, and you could not die from it. But guess what? You could watch Ma and you could feel like you are dying, and you could get through that. And you could
But-
not be afraid anymore.
If your dog gets into the grape patch and eats a bunch of grapes and you watch your dog die, talk about a horror movie, a horror show, and living
Exactly.
through trauma. So grapes therefore can cause even more. What's worse, your dog dying? What's scarier? Your dog
Yeah, but-
suffering grape poisoning or Ma?
And I actually want to shout something out that happens in Ma, is that a dog does die. But that means that I get to watch that happen and I can feel the pain, but I don't actually have to experience the consequences of it in my real life, unlike grapes.
Exactly. Ma prevents you from feeling real consequences, real ramifications of your actions. Grapes allow you to be in the real world where you're popping grapes.
No, I actually,
Squish.
I saw you like about to enter a zone and then like kind of come right out of it.
Yeah, I don't want to enter. You don't want to see me enter the grape zone?
no, I would love to see you enter the grape zone. I'm actually fully in Ma's hometown
you're in the
right
Ma
now.
zone?
Yeah, I'm actually driving past the veterinarian clinic. I'm driving past.
Is that a
The
location
alcohol
in
at the
the movie
liquor
Ma?
store?
Where does Ma take place? Do we know?
Ma takes place in any town, USA, baby.
It
Okay?
takes place in your backyard.
One of the greatest places. It could.
It's your
That's the
neighborhood.
scary part about Ma.
Doesn't sound pretty scary.
Ma could be happening to any one of us at any given
Ma
point.
could be happening.
You need to watch out.
What about my kids?
Ma, what are you doing here? Ma could be happening to your children right now.
I got
Everyone turn off this podcast. You need to check on your loved ones.
Well,
Ma,
Ma could be happening to them.
You can keep the podcast playing while you drive over. Just keep the podcast playing, but make sure you go check on Ma for real, real quick. But make sure you check the basement and also the
Ma
upstairs.
should be locked up.
Well, that's the thing is that she actually does get arrested at the end of the second movie or the first movie. But I do believe she gets arrested at the end of the first movie. But I do believe can I reveal it here?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we've already spoiled most of Ma here.
Skip ahead if you.
Ma 2 is coming 2032. It's
Ma
been
2
greenlit.
2032?
Yeah,
let's go.
It's been greenlit. It's the first Weinstein, not brothers, just Harvey production. Yeah,
Nice.
once we get him released, yeah. He's already greenlit, signed on. Yeah, we're working on it.
I'm so pleased to hear that. Is there any new big cast changes? Like who's going to be
Octavia Spencer will be there. She is Ma. She isn't like totally comfortable with like the Me Too stuff, but for Ma, like I said that transcends political, it transcends personal. It's not even about being an actress. It's about being Ma and what that means to the world. And I also want to give a big shout out to The Rock, who's going to be playing Ma's boyfriend.
Is he Pa?
He is Pa. Well, not yet. The wedding hasn't just happened. It might. You got to tune in to see Vera Wang's designing the dress.
Wow, my God.
So it's going to be a big deal. And also a little actor called Will Byers from Stranger Things.
Oh my God, Will Byers from Stranger Things?
Mm-hmm, Will Byers from Stranger Things, playing Will Byers from Stranger Things. So that's all I'm allowed to reveal. Right now.
I would just, as a huge fan of the series, look, I was gonna use that as a point against you, no Ma 2, but I will admit I have written a Ma 2 spec script, and mine ends with the wedding between Ma and a love interest, and then movie 3 is many years later, Grandma.
Oh, that is because I think that is something that we could really use to investigate, elder care. And I would even say elder abuse in our country, which is something we're not seeing enough on film.
No.
I'm seeing
we're not seeing enough of it in general.
No, not in general. Because have y'all met old people these days?
What is up with them? Somebody, you ever see an oldie and gotta give them a little smack around and say, "Where are you?"
Sometimes I see an old person on the train and I say, "Get down, get down." I offer them my seat. They're still standing. They're saying, "I'm fine." No, you're not.
Roll up a newspaper, bash them on the head.
Get. No. We love old people in this podcast.
Yeah, in fact, this podcast is very inclusive to old people. In fact, one of the two hosts is 90.
Yeah, and we won't tell you which one, but let's just say I have a long skincare routine in the morning.
How long?
90 years.
All right, let's hear some closing statements. Ella, why don't you start those?
I just want to start by thanking Ma for everything that she has given us and her cultural impact. And while grapes nourish us on a physical level, I do believe that Ma nourishes us on a spiritual, honestly also a physical and emotional and intellectual and not only spiritual but religious level. And grapes only do one of those things, while Ma will continue to brighten the days and the lives of people for generations to come.
Okay, well, Ma's a scary freak, and grapes. I haven't even discussed the coolest thing about them. They grow in a vine. All these other fruits and vegetables come out of the ground or the dirt, the tree. No, that's where a squirrel is. Squirrel in there. Get it gross. Get your fruit gross. Vine, pure, divine. It's a vine. You know a lot about vines. You've spent days editing them in high school. My opponent has been on my side this whole time. Grapes are great. And I bet a lot of you right now listening are enjoying a nice pop or two. I yield my time.
Wow. Jack, you may have closed the gap a little bit on that closing statement, but not enough. Giving it to Ella.
Yes. But I will say, once you brought up the vine aspect, I do love that.
Yeah, the vine is the most underrated aspect of the grape, and it's its strongest attribute.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, we even have with us here one of the California raisins who famously sang "Heard It Through the Grapevine."
Yeah.
And that's talking about it's not just a great way to grow a fruit. It's also a great way to hear things.
It's true.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Well, here I'm gonna pass this guy over to Jack here.
Amazing.
This our topic generator, and let's do round 2. I'm ready to take on the victor.
Let's do it.
Scared.
Let's do it. Okay.
I'm staying humble.
Stay humble, but also lock in because Matt's the head hunchback of this podcast.
I'm the head hunchback.
So he's got a lot of debates under his belt. Matt, you will be debating in favor of a magazine of your choice.
Ooh.
And Ella, a drug of your choice.
Does it have to be recreational?
No, it can be, I think any chemical.
Prescription, herbal,
It can
legal,
be,
illegal.
There's even some emotions that I would consider.
What about sex?
Yeah.
Not gonna do that one. Not a pervert. Just checking.
No, I feel like
checking.
that would count. We have a lot of leeway
there's a lot of wiggle room in this podcast.
Yeah, a lot of wiggle room.
But not too much.
Not too much. Also, there's a lot of wobble room because this podcast is built on a fault line.
Yeah.
So we have to have a lot of wobble room to combat the earthquakes and when there's a
Yeah, we actually installed a fault line here. I know New York doesn't typically fall on a fault line.
Good.
But this was sort of a construction project we've been working on since 2000.
It looks fantastic. It really
Thank
looks
you.
great. I was
Yeah.
noticing that earlier.
Yeah, it cost a lot of money. We had to get a lot of grants.
Yep. It always
Mhm.
smells like sulfur in here. Like
That's
the there's a lot of like shakes and tremors and
And
There's a
they're hot
geyser.
springs now. There didn't used to be
Yeah.
hot springs.
Oh my god, just like in Arkansas.
Just like
Yeah.
in
I was
Arkansas.
really getting some big Arkansas vibes when I walked in here, and I really think you've achieved your goal. I'm glad that you went more for the Arkansas fault line rather than the San Andreas, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you could handle having the Rock here just that much. Like, it's nice to have him every once in a while, but he'd be here a lot.
I like The Rock. I'm excited to see him as Pa.
He's
Look.
gonna be great. He's gonna
But-
be great as Pa.
I'm like, he's needy.
He's needy.
He
Like,
is.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I know
Jack.
because Matt, look, the thing is, when Pa's in the neighborhood, and it feels like he's in the neighborhood a lot, he's always like, "Hey, I'm
He's
in the
always
neighborhood."
here.
I'm like, Pa, what are you always doing around here?
He's like, I want to borrow a cup of sugar, and I'm like, again, Pa.
Like, Pa,
What is he baking? Probably freaking great pie.
Knowing him,
Paul.
knowing Pa.
knowing
Oh.
Pa. Do we have choices?
Oh,
I got a topic.
Oh, can I actually add? This is not my choice,
Mhm.
but to bring it back to grapes, I will say, turns out one of the great medicines of all time is grapes.
Really?
Because
medicine.
hopefully this is not a little TMI,
Mm.
but one of my dear friends, won't name her, who I grew up going to camp with, and had many medical issues somehow only at camp. One day went to the nurse and was like, I am shitting water. I've only been shitting water for 3 days now. Nothing else will come out of my body except clear water. And Nurse Jen
my
said to her, said, eat lots of grapes.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And it worked.
that gummed up the system enough.
I have no idea what happened. She just gave her a bag of grapes, ate all of them, been fine ever since.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
Not my
crazy.
medicine of choice, but I had to give a big shout out to grapes there.
Mm.
Shout out to grapes. They may
Mhm.
not have won the last round, but they got close.
Yeah.
And we can see why right now.
I think had you had that information at the time, it would
Maybe it could have told
That
you.
could have put you over the line, Jack, but unfortunately, you lacked essential information, which sort of doesn't bode well for this podcast, does it?
Easy hunchback.
Ow! My twisted spine! Currently, Jack is the head hundo of the podcast, and I'm the head
I-
hunchback
I want-
represented here.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
the
yes.
yeah. I'm the.
The wise.
What was his name?
Gizmuda or
Gizmuda
Budagwai,
Budagwai.
whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, he's legendary.
And down there's me, the head hunchback, little raisin guy. Yeah. All right, I'm ready
Yeah,
to jump in
why don't you jump in,
Yeah.
Matt?
because the best magazine, I already have it, and it's the one magazine. This is true. The one magazine in my life that I was ever subscribed to, and that's Mad Magazine.
Of course.
Mad Magazine. Mad Magazine is haha funny for real style. It's it's really classic. The style of humor is like it's kind of like it there's something old and new about it. They're always covering the hip new thing. They're skewering whatever is current, but at the same time there is this kind of cohesive style that's been kept over the ages, and that is evergreen. I love that it's a magazine. It has physical pages, and I felt like as a child, I felt both like I was like interacting with like current events in a way that I never had before while I was reading it, which was really fun and interesting. And and getting to engage in satire and learning what that even is, but at the same time also getting to feel like I was doing something really old and like unstuck in time, reading a magazine full of haha hee hee jokies like it was the 1950s or something. And it was just I found it to be a really essential experience for myself. I think the magazine's awesome. I love their little logo guy, Alfred E. Newman. I think he's a silly fellow with a funny face. And great magazine. I yield my time.
All right. The drug.
I want to give a shout out to the most classic of all drugs, Advil. Not even ibuprofen. True brand name Advil.
Holy shit.
There is nothing more healing than Advil. I'm often having symptoms of any kind. I pop an Advil, 30 minutes to 45, even an hour later, I'm good to go. I could run a damn marathon after taking an Advil. And I'm someone who admittedly gets incredibly hungover. And I have since I was 15, since the first time I started drinking. But you know what can fix that? Advil. Have a headache? Advil. Also works for physical pain as well. I was recently at the doctor, actually at urgent care, with a walk-in orthopedic clinic. And they said, why don't you just take more Advil? And I was like, do I need an x-ray? They're like, no, you just need to take 10 times the amount of Advil you're currently taking,
Whoa.
which was 1 pill per day. Turns out you can take an amazing amount of Advil. When I broke my jaw in the year 2019, same time I saw Ma, instead of giving me painkillers, which are ruining the country, they told me to take Advil every 2 hours around the clock, except when you're sleeping. Then you have to take it every 4 hours. And it was incredible, and it worked. And for 1 month, I couldn't eat any solid food because my jaw was broken. But you know what I could eat? Advil. And it was incredible. You can get it in gel form. You can get it in not gel form, which could come in a powder. So if you're young, can't swallow medicine, just crush that on up. You can snort it or put it in applesauce. That's your business, not mine. But Advil is kind of the great unifier of the medicine world, I would say. I yield my time.
Wow, 2 very strong opening statements.
So just to make it clear here, we're not sponsored by Advil. This is not, you were coming here with brand name aspirins,
Yeah.
and that's you're making money on our podcast with your sponsorships. I'm not here for it. We don't make a dime from this. This is pro bueno.
No, so Advil actually has made a pledge to never sponsor anyone. They want to stay completely neutral.
Okay.
They're truly Switzerland.
Like Switzerland's hoarding Nazi money, Nazi
yes,
gold. Yeah.
Yes, actually, exactly like that.
Exactly.
They will take money from anyone, but they won't give it to anyone. And I think that is actually sort of beautiful.
They're incredibly greedy and
very greedy, but and I'm willing to admit that about the Advil family. But however, the good that they give to us ultimately is worth it. Like, imagine meeting like a serial killer, but like he makes an amazing pie. Like that kind of evens it out, and that's
I'm
sort
imagining
the
Pa right now.
I'm imagining Pa making a great pie.
Exactly. But that is sort of the Advil brand, where ultimately the good they're doing for the world outweighs any level of bad they could possibly do, and they could probably do a lot of bad.
I think they're doing a lot of bad in the world. And
you know what also sounds similar to bad is mad, and I'm curious about that. Why are they bringing anger into this already dark world virus when instead of being mad we could be glad?
You misunderstand. Mad does not refer to anger or fury. It refers to lunacy.
It refers to madness.
Oh, but see, isn't ultimately madness a form of anger at our own brains? And shouldn't we accept that within ourselves rather than putting it into the pages of a magazine?
I mean, I think we should accept it in ourselves, and that's sort of what the magazine strives to do.
And what sort of content is in this magazine?
Comics with an X.
Comics?
With an X.
And how are they educating the youth today? That's really the main goal, I think, of magazines should be, and I'm not really
they're educating the youth. It certainly...
Are there fractions in this magazine?
It might not educate you on fractions, but it might educate you on other things, like current events. And how to be silly and funny.
Why do kids need to know about current events when they could be learning, say, about fraction?
Because they're learning fractions in school.
Not my kids. Not my kids. They will not be going to school.
Have you checked in your kids? They might be with Ma right now.
They're with Ma right now. Don't worry. They would never make Ma drink alone. Okay, my kids were raised right.
Kids learn fractions at school, where kids should be, but when they're not at school, they should be sifting into a Mad magazine. They should not be taking drugs of any kind. Painkillers, you said they're destroying America, but you said Advil isn't. Advil is a painkiller.
No.
By definition, it kills the pain.
That's not what it does. Advil, in some respects, in some scientific communities, is a blood thinner. When I'm speaking on painkillers, I'm speaking of the opioid crisis.
You're talking about blood thinners? You want your blood to be thinner?
Oh, yes. I need my blood to be skinny legend queen, girl.
I think that is a terrible message to send to the youth of America, that their blood needs to be skinny to be beautiful.
You know what? It's already been sent. It's already out there. We can't get rid of it. We cannot be the change we wish to see in the world. We just have to flow with the river, okay?
So cynical.
Our blood is going to be thin. We're going to slip through it, okay? No one's going to stop us. There's no doors that could keep us from going under. There's no bridges that could keep us from going below with our thin blood.
What would you say to like a kid with like fat blood who's like kind of funny?
I would say take some Advil.
No. I think a positive message to tell that kid is you're kind of funny. You should like get into like satire through this magazine, learn comedy, and you can learn to sort of like that you can like place value in like what you can like put out into the world and not the appearance of your blood.
Well, I would say having thick blood ultimately is dangerous. And
to whom?
The human body.
Excuse me?
You ever heard of her? Ever heard of the human body?
You mean like the thing Ma has?
Yeah, and hers is tea.
Yeah. Ma's body's tea. Not to mention, Ma's got bodies.
No, Ma's got bodies. Okay. And she has one also body who's alive. Don't forget, plot twist, her daughter.
Oh my god.
No one's talking about how Ma has munches.
The daughter, Pa.
I am curious why her Pa's not in the first movie. Like, what happened in their relationship? I'm hoping we are going to get a backstory.
Origin story,
yeah. Really, I mean, I do want to know about their rom-com.
I think them meeting would be awesome. Also, the events that Pa's experiencing during the events of Ma, he's like out at the store or something, or like has his own dark, twisted, maybe John Wick kind of arc that's like
probably getting damn sugar over here.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ma, I would like to just like put you like just take you on a journey through the pages of an issue of Mad magazine. Okay, so you go past some like opening comic books and some like the sections where they do just like little like half or like quarter page bits where it's it's like a fake article or something.
Question: is there a toy inside, or do you get a toy from the magazine?
You get an intellectual toy. Anywho,
so wait, no toy.
You get to laugh.
Is there a physical toy, like a prize or anything?
Actually, there is a toy. Because there's a game built into Mad Magazine called the Mad Fold-In. So that's the end. We're going to jump to the end for a second.
Okay.
The
Mad Fold-In. We can go in order.
Okay.
So I need to know if there's a toy coming my way.
There's a toy coming.
Oh, thank God. I was about to end the episode.
In the middle of Mad Magazine, what you get is basically the Mad pop culture parody. It's always a parody of whatever the hip new TV show or movie is. And it is a multiple page comic book parody that is full of funny little like visual details and things. And every character name is the same as the original character's name, but a parody of it to be insulting in some way.
And so this is going back to my point about Mad. I see this is all just true cruelty, and it's making fun of something I would like to call art. And art is something that in today's America, we need to protect. We need to hold to the highest degree. I don't want to open the pages of a magazine and see someone making fun of Noah Weil on The Pit. Okay, calling him Nose Weil. That's disgusting.
I think you're going about this all the wrong way, because that's silencing free speech. What you're doing, that is art in and of itself, art that is a response to other art, and that is Mad Magazine. So, for instance, they would do a multiple page comic book about Ma, and they would call it Meh. And it would be
not funny, insulting. Ma is perfect. Okay,
call it Meh. And it would just be like poking fun at it and showing that we can all have a laugh at Ma's expense. And then
we can't.
And then at the very ends of the magazine is the Mad Fold-In, the toy on top, or at the back, I should say. And what it is it's like this image that sort of depicts. Well, at the top it would be this paragraph that would sort of be like posing a question about like the world today, and then when you fold it in, you fold and you get the sliver on the left and the sliver on the right, you put them together and you cut out the middle basically, and what you get is the initial image becomes a different image, and the caption on the top that just, that's posing this paragraph long question becomes a very short answer to the question.
Whoa, that's sick.
And with like words getting cut in half and like sentences fragments, and it creates an answer to the question. So it would be like a paragraph about like, what is the biggest problem facing teenagers today, and this with iPhones, this, that, teenagers are facing so much pressure. What is the biggest problem facing teenagers today? And then like it folds in and the answer is just ma, for instance.
So that is very interesting. I have to admit, I don't know much about Mad Magazine. All of the magazines I got were leftovers from my mom was a teacher and she would bring them home from school. So it was mainly highlights, or it was The Economist.
Nerd magazines.
Which my dad was getting weekly, of course. But I have to say, in my experience, my little experience with Mad Magazine, I do think that it's kind of a headache. That's a lot of words. And it's not a lot of like, videos, and words just really hurt a head. And the best thing you can do in that situation is just pop an Advil, and that is what is going to compel you to keep going and keep, I guess, reading. And you can continue on with your journey on Mad Magazine once you, take down that headache with a little bit of Advil.
See, I think what you sound like to me right now is like a big pharma, like a drug pusher, and I think that's exactly who Mad would skewer.
Well, I don't really see why Big Pharma's done very little wrong. They've done some wrong, but very little. And I'm sure that if I tapped on Mad Magazine's door and I went into that closet, I would find a couple skeletons. Because
you're guessing. You don't know for certain.
I actually do know for certain because my sources have been reporting to me, and they're in the closet right now. Their body cams are on, so we'll be getting the footage shortly. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. They were actually at the National Lampoon.
Oh,
instead, that's on me. That's my bad. That's my bad. But they will be heading over.
National
they're heading over.
Lampoon, by the way, it was like a Mad Magazine ripoff. It was just mad but horny.
See, that is something we're missing about Mad Magazine. Is why is it not horny?
Because it's appropriate for kids.
See, we don't need children reading magazines. Like, once again, we need them studying math and AI. Okay, we need them getting into this. We don't need this kind of creativity. We don't need all this jokey haha. We need them to focus on the future.
What is worse than madness stained with desire?
I think you want to opiate the masses. You want to have people
I actually have to disagree with that really quick, because I have said multiple times, not only on this podcast, but just in my day-to-day life every day, that I am against the opioid crisis. And you need to stop accusing me of being pro-opioid crisis. That's why I'm pro-Advil, because it's not an opiate.
Okay, fine. You want to thin the blood of the masses.
Yes!
You want to thin the blood of the masses, and you want to make them all drones in service of one big AI, artificial intelligence. Mad Magazine enforces creativity and questioning the status quo.
And who has questioned the status quo ever helped once in their life?
Names of people who were helped by questioning the status quo. Let's see here. How about Che Guevara?
He wasn't helped, okay?
He was helped. They put him on a t-shirt about it.
And guess what? The t-shirt looks like shit.
I tell you what, the t-shirt looks awesome. It looks amazing sauce.
No, it doesn't. It's never walked the runway at Paris Fashion Week.
I tell you what has walked the Paris Fashion Week walk, though. Heels.
That's true. I've seen a heel or two at a Paris Fashion Week runway.
It's true. Heels have walked them, and who has skewered heels better than Mad Magazine?
But Mad Magazine, just because they skewered heels didn't mean they got rid of them. And who helped us, continue the journey with heels, because we knew that problem was going away? Advil. Advil said, I see those heels hurting. Let me give you something to thin out that blood, ease that pain, and you can keep walking that Paris Fashion Week runway.
I see. The thing is, heels are not bad per se, but what they are is open to scrutiny. And I think that's what's great about Mad Magazine, is that it's not that they're they're not saying what they're making fun of is bad necessarily, and they're not saying it's good. What they're doing is opening people's minds to the idea that what they are representing doesn't have to be. So they skewer the heel, and then people think to themselves, do I want to wear heels? Or would I rather thin my blood to infinity and just poop water forever?
Well, here's the thing: is Advil actually? Am I allowed to announce this on the podcast? I know. Sorry, a lot of announcements.
Of course.
Advil has a new collaboration with grapes.
Really?
Oh my god.
And so, if you've been shitting water because of your thin, gorgeous blood, oh my god, it's like silk. You can actually now eat grapes.
Oh my god.
And just fix that problem on up, and you can keep popping those Advil, eating those grapes forever.
Objection! You were always able to eat grapes.
No, you weren't. Have you been eating grapes?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
no.
you can't be telling people that.
What? Why
you
not?
only just recently were allowed to start eating grapes.
No, you can't. You couldn't be eating grapes before the grape
my
ban was
God.
lifted.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Now
Oh
that
my-
it's legal, it's like fine.
No, this is like marijuana charges in a lot of states. Those
Oh no!
the-
In this state too?
in this state too. In this state of America.
Oh my god! I can't believe we did that whole last debate and didn't even talk about the grape ban.
I know. Well, it's done now.
Yeah, well,
And-
now that it's over, we can talk about it. And I feel like some things are best left in the past, but we didn't know that you'd be revealing your crimes.
Well, I've been eating grapes.
You need to stop saying this because people are listening to us. Like these.
Not
Well,
this
My-
at
podcast,
this,
not
at
this
this, at this,
podcast.
at this
two-way.
point in the episode, probably not.
No. Not like people, but like
Oh, like the-
agents.
oh, like the chips.
Like agents?
Yeah.
What, you think I can get representation from this podcast?
No, agents like
Shield.
Mr. F. Wait, that's from Arrested Development.
Yeah. I picked that up.
I was thinking more like agents from maybe of Shield.
Agents of Shield.
Agents
I
of
was thinking
S.H.I.E.L.D..
maybe like agents of Russia and agents of chaos and things like that.
Well, that's no good. I don't support Shield.
Oh,
I don't support
please,
Shield either.
we need your support.
No, Hail Hydra. I just
No, wait. What if I start? What if in college I was like, yeah, I was in the Shield ROTC. Just like, are you a Hydra agent? Like, I'm fucking gonna follow you around.
So I think that's really like just like crude and like opportunistic of Advil to like collaborate with grapes the moment they're legal. The moment they turn legal, it's like, oh, and you can eat a bunch of grapes. Grapes, by the way, fucked up of your camp nurse to assign grapes as the solution when they were illegal in all 50 states and territories.
You don't know where the camp was.
Where was the camp?
Obviously, I'm not going to answer that question now that you've so aggressively pushed it against me. But let me tell you, where it was legal. It was one of the places that were legal, and I know that narrows it down very very very
It was
small.
Myanmar.
It was Myanmar. Yeah, when I was a kid, I went to camp in Myanmar. It was crazy. We played canoe wars all the time.
Burmese grapes. Mm.
They're special.
I think I'm ready for closing statements.
From whom?
I would like to hear Ella's first.
And I have to start by, giving my applause to Mad Magazine, something that I might even go home and pick up. But you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to pop an Advil because something I haven't even mentioned, Advil PM. I've taken every sleep drug known to man. Melatonin, Ativan prescribed by a doctor? No way. Benadryl, snore, but not actually snore because it doesn't put you to sleep. But Advil PM, not only does it, thin your blood, but God, does that knock you out. And that's all I have to say. I yield my time.
Well, first of all, just for the record, just to get it on record. Yes, I used to eat grapes, but I was in Myanmar.
Oh,
I forgot you used to be in Myanmar.
Yeah.
I used to be a Myanmar-based comic. But then the scene sort of dried up when there was that whole,
the Facebook thing.
the Facebook genocide. And I
Whatever.
said, I'm out of there. I said, Mark Zuckerberg, you have ruined my home, and now I'm going to move to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I moved here and I met Jack my first day. Here
Yeah.
and I said, you won't believe what's going on in Myanmar. And he said, the Facebook genocides. And I said, And we've been friends ever since, and it's been really nice. But it's neither here nor there. If he says that Ella won this debate, then that's fine. Our friendship's like over, but that's fine. What was our argument favorite? Mad Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Magazine. It's funny. It's essential. It's really creative. The Mad Fold-ins. You get a toy at the end as like a reward for like laughing and learning at the same time. Fractions are bullshit. It's bad for your body image to care about the thickness of your blood. And Advil has Nazi gold. And that's you can quote me on that. Advil has Nazi gold.
All right.
I yield my time.
Well done, you two. Well done, you two. I must say though, the debate was won as soon as the words "popped" were uttered. So I'm gonna give it to Ella. As soon as Ella was like, when you pop an apple, I said, ooh, I love a pop a grape. I love that.
God.
But look, there was so much good on both sides.
I have to admit, I'm shocked.
No, I thought that was great. I thought my Vance was debating in favor of lunacy. I could never give it to him.
Oh my
It's
God.
preposterous. It goes against everything I stand for. Madness, nay. Would not debate for this psychotic magazines. Too depraved.
That's fair. I'm just, I'm very depraved. I love to argue in
true.
favor of deprivation regularly.
That's why you got that tank installed in your room, your deprivation tank. It
Yeah.
doesn't just
Love
deprive
that
you.
one.
It doesn't just deprive you of like sight and sound or whatever. They would also deprive him of all his blood. It
Yeah.
sucks all the blood.
Blood, essential minerals,
Ooh.
humor magazines. I'm
Yeah.
deprived of everything.
I hear that's just fantastic for your
It's
skin.
So good
Yeah,
for your
and
And you were
skin.
Haven't you
glowing.
noticed?
I have.
Yeah,
Actually,
you
I was
are
wondering what
glowing.
that sheen
I thought you
was.
had jaundice, but I'm like, no, it's actually beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I've it's the hot new trends in French Parisian fashion week
Yeah.
is
Ooh.
deprivation jaundice.
Yeah.
I honestly would love to get jaundice. Like, I feel like if I had jaundice, because everyone would notice, and then genuinely, I mean, at least for babies, which I am, the
Which
cure
we
for
are, yeah.
jaundice is they put you in the
Sauna.
sun.
Or no, not yeah, like a light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so imagine being like, everyone's like, oh, you look so sick, and then the doctor's
Sunday.
like, you must go to the sun. Like, that's like being in Little Women.
That's
It's
sick.
incredible. But then I always just have this fantasy of that someone's just gonna kind of wrap me up in a baby blanket and put me on the windowsill to cure
Oh.
my jaundice. And so if anyone has any recommendations on how or where to catch jaundice, please let me know.
Well, yeah, you can get it inside the deprivation tank.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Yeah,
deprivation-
just send me the booking
Yeah.
email and I'll let them
I
know.
come out there looking like a glistening Simpson. And things have been great for me, by the way. I know I lost that debate, but things have been going great for me.
Yeah.
I'm glistening like a Simpson, and my blood's thick, and I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy that my blood's thick. Actually, I'm just happy to be me.
We're gonna have an intervention for your blood thickness.
No, it's good.
Make
Actually,
you pop an Advil.
I will not pop an Advil.
You should pop an Advil for your birthday.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe as a treat, I'll go a little crazy at
Yeah.
the club, and I'll.
You should go to Ibiza and pop an Advil with Avicii.
That was the pill that was Mike Posner took because of Avicii.
Yeah, Avicii's ghost force fed him this pill.
Mike-
He tricked Mike Posner. He had his like a finger of peanut butter, and he said, "Mike," and Mike ate the peanut butter, and then there was a pill.
He's like, what's happening? Why is my blood so thin?
Wait, crazy lore. My cousin's business partner is dating Mike Posner,
"No
my
way,"
which
Hey.
is crazy and very important to me because
You're in the Posnerverse.
I'm in the Posnerverse, and one of the most, I would say, historical things that have happened in my lifetime. Like, I've always said that I'm very jealous of everyone who lived during the OJ years.
Right.
I got to live, and I assume you guys were born then, through when Mike Posner tried to walk across the country and got bit by a rattlesnake.
I did not know this happened.
Oh my God.
So sick.
I
Oh my
actually think I could talk
goodness.
about this for hours. He got bit by a rattlesnake and like would not stop posting about it. Posted some of the craziest
So my
singing. No, showing his bite, showing his leg inflamed. I think he'd only got like 10 days in or something to his Forrest Gump walk across the country.
Oh my
This is
God.
in the aftermath of I took a pill in Ibiza.
Oh, so kind of recent.
This was, I also think, in the year of our Lord 2019.
Oh, wow. What a great year.
my year.
A lot was happening in 2019. Maybe it was 2018.
The year of the Ma, the year of all the grapes.
The year of, I used to have all his videos memorized of him in the hospital because
Really?
they were so insane.
Number one Posner fan right here.
If I could write you a song to make you fall in love, I would already have you under my arm. And that's
Ooh.
just a little taste if you dip into the Posner catalog.
Oh, and you said you'd break into a song at some point on this podcast.
I did.
Whoa,
Prophecy
how full
fulfilled.
circle.
I did think it was going to be a Childish Gambino song,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think in my head, when I think of, when I group artists together, like, I feel like a lot of people go with, like, oh, Sonny and Cher. I kind of think, like, oh, Childish Gambino and Mike Posner.
And the reason I think about that is I think Childish Gambino does think he's cooler than Mike Posner.
He does.
He totally does.
But kind of the trick in the song is that he's not.
Exactly.
They're
he flips
equals.
the whole thing in his head.
The shoes on your feet, you wear it around like you ain't shit. I mean, that's
It's Childish Gambino written all over.
he's always wearing shoes on his feet. And
He
I'm like,
is.
buddy, touch grass.
Take them off.
Take them off.
Wiggle
Take
those
'em off.
toes.
Come on, Childish Gambino.
Come on, let those dogs bark.
Let the puppies free.
Yeah, but Donald Glover's fine.
Yeah,
Donald Glover can
he's
keep his
fine.
shoes
Oh,
on.
yeah, he's chill.
yeah. I don't want to see his feet.
Ew.
Ugh.
No.
But Childish Gambino,
Gambino, let him shine,
let
baby.
him shine. Let that freak foot shine.
Yeah.
Did you see Childish Gambino in concert, middle of the concert, takes his shoes off, just wiggles those digits
Ooh.
live on stage, and that's how he could, I think, break the Eras tour record
That'd be amazing.
for most tickets
Yeah, if
sold.
he showed feet.
If he showed feet.
No, what if he had like a 6th toe in one foot? Then it'd break the internet.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
If
we
he had
need
an
to be
extra
breaking the
toe.
internet. We haven't done it since
Not
Kim
since Ralph.
Kardashian's cover.
Yeah.
Nor since Ralph broke it himself.
Ugh.
Freaking Ralph, guys.
Rob, my internet was down for days.
It sucked. I had to get on my Zoom.
Well, folks, this has been Apples and Oranges.
Yeah, it's Apples and Oranges. Wait, Elliot, anything you would like to plug?
Wait, literally no.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
This is Ella. She lives in a
maybe-
vacuum.
I may be thinking of some things, but I'll keep you posted on
Okay.
them.
Okay, great. And I don't know. We don't have anything to plug, do we?
Nah, we're just chilling. I mean, we've got like Social Variety Hour coming up. My improv team, Pyramid Scheme, is performing Thursdays at the Pit.
Good name.
Pull through for that. Trying to think what else. I mean, that's kind of
Oh.
it.
Find us on TikTok if
Yeah,
you want
follow
to
us on
laugh
TikTok.
or think. Much like with Mad Magazine, it can make you laugh and it can make you think.
Yeah, it'll make you think dark thoughts,
Dark, twisted thought.
twisted, fucked up, crazy thoughts.
A beautiful, dark, twisted grape.
And if your head gets too hurting from those dark thoughts, just pop
You know
an
exactly
Advil,
what to
keep on
take.
watching.
Then that blood.
That blood.
Bye.
Better eat your apples. Don't forget your oranges. Better eat your